青や強がって飛び乗って風に流って青空昨日を越えろ
Hello everybody, welcome to Talking Mons. It is our Digimon Adventure 2020 recap podcast. My name is JD and I am joined by my friend Gary.
Hello.
Unfortunately, Jeanette cannot be here with us tonight, so it's just going to be the boys today. We're going to be talking about episodes 41 and 42, Mon Park in the Fog, and King of Inventors. It says Gerbamon. I know him as Garbagemon, but whatever.
Close enough. There's two G's in it.
It's fine. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and start with episode 41.
And to a huge disappointment, we did not find out what's in the fridge.
Gary, I've long since I've just given up on. I think that we've moved past the fridge. If they get back to the fridge, it is a lingering plot point right now. So maybe. So at the end of the last episode, pretty much, or was it? No, I think it was the end of the last episode. Everyone decides Tai and Izzy are going to go scout around. Matt and TK are going to go forage for food, basically. And so the brothers are wandering around in the forest, and they come across this theme park, which is really strange because they're like, what is this thing? What is this thing from our world doing here?
It just appeared in the fog, like Silent Hill.
Pretty much, yes. It's a Silent Hill theme park, essentially. Pyramid Head does not make an appearance, unfortunately.
But there are spooky stuff.
I was about to say, a different nightmare creature comes up, but we'll talk about Worumonzimon in a minute. So yeah, it's meant to... Opossumon is this weird-looking dude.
He's trying clearly not a bad guy.
He says as much. He says, I'm not a bad guy. And when someone tells you they're not a bad guy, you have to believe them.
Why would they lie?
Why would they lie? I mean, I've only known you for 5 seconds. Clearly you're a trustworthy person. But Possumon is trying to convince them that, the theme park is a fun, safe environment. But actually, Possumon has been foraging what I can only assume are the souls or life energy of the surrounding forest critters to sacrifice to his giant teddy bear god monster to power him up, I guess.
Yep.
This episode I like this episode mostly because I like the dynamic that we're kind of getting with TK and Matt. I feel like in a lot of older iterations, or especially the original series, it took a while for Matt to really warm up to TK. A lot of the time he was just treating him like a nuisance, and he wanted nothing to do with him. But this one, Matt genuinely seems concerned for him. I like the flashbacks they have with them going to the amusement park as littler kids, even showing that Matt is afraid of haunted houses. So Gary, what did you think about this episode?
I like the bonding moment. I could care less about the actual situation or the amusement park thing, but it's nice to see they're just being bros.
Yeah,
hanging around.
Yeah, it's just them, bonding as brothers and visiting this amusement park. Matt apparently made a promise to TK when they were little kids that next time they went to an amusement park, they would ride the merry-go-round, and that becomes a plot point, I guess.
Yeah.
Matt screams it out after fucking TK gets eaten by the giant teddy bear monster.
Well,
which
no, he didn't get eaten. He was trying to do the whole if I attack it from the inside thing.
Oh yeah. Which that becomes a theme between this and the next episode.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just want to say that Worumonzimon is some Five Nights at Freddy's horror bullshit. Yeah, I've known this Digimon exists, but now seeing him animated at least for the first time for me, he's like fucking nightmares.
Yeah, I didn't know that that's how he attacked, by like basically sucking in things into his belly, I guess.
He opens his chest cavity into a dark void to suck up the souls of other monsters, who then live in like some nightmare realm inside of his body, which I guess is like some kind of shadow dimension or something. It's Digimon. It doesn't have to make sense.
It's a Silent Hill version of that amusement park with happy evil balloons sucking out your soul as you endlessly ride the merry-go-round and other rounds.
Yeah, so
The only good side is that you don't have to pay for it every time.
it's true, man. Yeah, I mean that was kind of a cool reveal where Possumon like shows Matt and TK like the giant regular Monzimon, like it's like a statue or something just standing. It's like, this is the park mascot, you know, he's a cool guy. He doesn't move or anything. Like they think it's just a statue, and then like Possumon just like takes off the fucking skin of regular Monzimon and like it's Waru Monzimon underneath, and I'm like, put the regular bear suit back on. Let's do that.
I do like the second time Patamon evolved. Gave us a little fake out there.
Yeah, I was totally expecting he was gonna go Pegasusmon again, but like, hey, everybody, Angemon's back. It's the first time we've seen him since the first time.
Now, when are we gonna see his next evolution? This is the last one.
It's true. He's the only one that hasn't gone Ultimate yet. Yeah, I'll be interested to see when that happens. I did see some promotional art for this show, and I don't know if it's a big spoiler or not, but I did think it was interesting. It showed that Patamon and Gatomon are getting their Beast Megas rather than their Angel Megas. So it's going to be Megadramon or Magnadramon, and I think Goldramon is Patamon's. It's like a big gold dragon or something.
Oh.
But I don't know if that's going to be like a split evolution, because we've already shown that like Agumon has 2 mega. Actually, fuck, Agumon has had 3 mega versions. God damn. So I'm wondering what that's going to be about. I mean, I'm waiting for anybody else to get a mega form. Like, seriously, anybody else. Anybody, go for it. I mean, in the next episode, I was kind of wondering if Izzy was finally going to get his. At least his got teased a couple episodes back. So,
well, speaking of the next episode, do you have anything else to add?
No, I mean, this episode was just fine. It kind of just, I like the stuff with Matt and TK kind of bonding his brothers. I like their backstory. Fucking Waru Monzimon will haunt my dreams. And his dark void chest cavity thing.
Don't you just want that as a plushie by your bedside?
I really
up every
don't.
morning?
I want to. I would get it and immediately set it on fire. Anyway, but yeah, after that, Matt and TK just kind of wander off again, and they're gonna go back search for food like they said they would.
Jeremy Snow here, owner and editor-in-chief of The Geekly Grind. I'm interrupting your awesome, regularly scheduled programming to ensure that you know about our Geekly Grind podcast network, of which this show is a treasured member of. If you haven't had a chance to check out our site, you can do so at www.thegeeklygrind.com, and while you're there, check out the other members of our steadily growing podcast family, including the anime-centric Blake and Spencer Get Jumped, discovering new heroes and comic book keepers with Chris and Lance, exploring the vast universe of geekdom with Geeksploration, or of course appreciating animation's finer details with the Ink and Paint Club. Escape your weekly grind at the Geekly Grind.
So with that, I guess we will move on to episode 42, King of Adventures, Gerbamon, Garbagemon, whatever the fuck you want to call him. So this hops over to the side story of where Tai and Izzy went off to. They're going to go scout. I think it's funny in the episode before this, when they said what they're going to go do, Agumon was like yelling about how excited he was to scout, and Tentomon points out that he doesn't even know what scouting is. It's like, you don't even know what you're cheering for, do you? He's like, no.
It's new. It's fun. Let's do it. I don't know what it is. Who cares?
I like that Agumon is an idiot.
That's like some YOLO attitude.
Pretty much. So Tai and Izzy are like kind of just scouting the area out, and they come across a giant garbage dump, which is home to Garbagemon, who is this pink dude that lives in a garbage can. He's basically anime Oscar the Grouch, except he's not an asshole. He's basically an inventor who basically is taking all this trash that somehow is coming from the real world and just dumping into this one spot. And Garbagemon, is being a scientist, wants to like kind of examine all of this stuff coming through and like take it apart, see how it works and all that stuff.
From what Izzy said, it doesn't sound like it's actually physical stuff from the real world. It's the data of the stuff from the real world.
Yeah, it's like it's digitizing the real world things, and like I'm assuming like making a copy of it and dumping it into the real world, because they're like, I love that like Tai finds a cup of cup ramen or cup noodle. The expired cup noodle. And I like that Izzy had to like scan it with the tablet to figure that out.
Well,
could have just looked at the label.
Well, if it's not expired too long, I mean, those things last forever. They are.
I mean, it's dried. I mean, how expired can it be?
Just bring it back and have some.
I was having tempting.
Like
Izzy I just wanted to see like Izzy tell Ty's expired, and Ty's like, so.
Which one was the character? Was it Tai that in the original said that he would eat some eggs to find out? Yeah.
I think I might have mentioned this a few episodes back. It is literally my favorite line of the English dub is when they fought, is because we were talking about the fridge a couple episodes, and I was like, I want it to be full of eggs. Just because Ty's like, look, I'll be a guinea pig. If I turn purple, they're not edible. So yeah, I'm sure Tai is no stranger to just eating shit just to see what happens. So, and they also find this thing which becomes a plot point later on.
The MacGuffin powder, which actually I kind of want.
Which I don't. Okay, so the way Izzy explains it is like when you have leftover oil from like frying stuff or something, you like put it into the oil and it solidifies and it like helps with disposing of it, so you're not just like dumping oil
like down the drain or like contain it in a garbage bag kind of deal.
Right. So I assume it like solidifies your oil so you can just kind of throw it away in a big block rather than like dumping it liquid form. I assume this is a real thing that Japan has.
I'm surprised American don't, since everything is oiled and fried.
Right. I'm just like, it was one of those things where if they end up localizing this, I want to see how they try to explain that to Americans.
Yeah.
Like I'm just reading the subtitles and I had a hard time really understanding what it was for.
Gelatin powder. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, it's gelatin powder. It makes things into jello. Why not? But no, Garbagemon is he has this little mouse guy assistant, and apparently this Raremon, who is this giant, he's basically the Pokemon Muck if he had like some metal strapped to his face and a bunch of teeth. Apparently he's been eating all of apparently there used to be like an army of these little pink mouse dudes, and apparently they're all been eaten by this monster, which leads to a kind of depressing scene where Garbagemon takes everybody back to his lab, and he has like all of these like metal mugs just on the wall, and Izzy like asks him about it and is like, well, these mugs belong to all the other mouse dudes that were here, but they're gone now, so I use them as like a reminder for myself.
No, what's even sadder is that it's not just the mugs; they're all little cubby hole that
Yeah.
have little cushion and pillows in it.
Yeah, everyone had their own mug, and everyone had their own little cubby to be in, but there's only one of them left, and so Garbagemon is basically trying to
Revenge. Sorry.
no, that's exactly what he's doing. He's like trying to create an ice bullet to go in his like trash bazooka so that he can shoot Raremon with it to freeze him. Which he does do.
But eventually, with the help of Izzy.
Yeah. And Raremon turns into what is possibly the dumbest name in Digimon history, Raremon, who is a weird Cthulhu horrible muck monster. If you thought War Monzimon was terrifying, just take a look at this thing.
Well, at least this one probably just eat you and not put you in a amusement park dread.
I was just taken aback by its like 4 or 5 heads and its amount of teeth.
Yeah, that's what's that Itchy Geiger kind of feel?
I don't know. It's just it's gross, is what it is.
The guy who designed Aliens from Aliens.
Oh, yeah, it's a little Giger-esque.
Yeah, Giger. There we
go. But yeah. So for this episode, I really like. It has a spotlight on Izzy, and I like that. One, I really like episodes where the kids have to team up with just a random like neutral Digimon out in the world. Like they just kind of came across Garbagemon living his life, doing his own thing, and they're like, "Oh hey, what's up, man?
And we'll help you."
Yeah, exactly. And I also just like it lets Izzy show off his intelligence because like he calls back, he remembers that they have that weird oil stuff because Garbagemon is like, oh, his body is mostly oil because he's been
eating cars and
just stuff that is powered or uses oil, so his body is mostly oil. And so Izzy calls back and like, wait a minute, we have all that stuff that is like to solidify oil. Okay, we're gonna use that, but then we're also gonna use the ice bullet machine that Garbagemon has, and we're gonna hook it up to Metal Greymon's rail cannon arm to make an ice beam.
To power it up.
Yeah, so it was just kind of a cool thing with just watching Izzy's gears turn. Like he's just like putting all this shit together, and I like that he just like has like a lot of admiration for Garbagemon as a scientist.
Yeah. Well, it's not just like upgrading that little ice cannon or ice bullet machine. It's also figuring out the strategy that you have to like get Raremon spinning and then heat it up with some danger close like fire from Metagramon.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of steps that they take to like take this monster down, and it's really kind of interesting, like just watching each piece fall into place.
And not just the same old, let's evolve into something bigger and shoot that thing more powerfully.
Yeah, it's just kind of refreshing watching them try, like, actually have to have strategy to fight something, not just brute force their way through it.
Or just the power of friendship or hope.
I mean, there is a bit of power of friendship here, but it's just more motivational rather than it is physical. Yeah, overall, I really like this one. I thought it was a fun little adventure, and I liked, getting Izzy to really show his stuff. Tai is there for moral support, I guess. He doesn't really do much other than Metal Greymon is part of the strategy to beat the monster. So, is there anything you wanted to bring up about this episode?
No, but I am more or less curious on how Because we are entering the final arcs, and I feel like just with how they're pacing stuff, like, are we gonna have enough time to see like everything before they might even rush to finish the show?
Yeah, you're right, because this show, from all the reports we've seen, is supposed to have 66 episodes, and we're on episode 42. So we've got a little over 20 episodes left, which actually is interesting because, I mean, the old show, we had a bunch of arcs. Like, we had the Coming to Digital the Devimon arc, and then we had the Myotismon arc, and so on and so on. There's some arcs in between those. But it feels like that this show is basically one big arc. This is like the arc to stop Millennium Mon from resurrecting.
Yeah. Well, I guess the biggest difference, maybe it's just me remembering stuff differently as a kid. Like back in the original series, that there are very defined goals to each step. You have to defeat Devimon, then and then the next step is find a way off the island, and the next step is to find out the crest, that kind of deal. But this is
Yeah.
less defined, so it feels like we don't know where the journey is going. I mean, I guess it's a good thing at some point where it's a little bit of mystery as well.
Yeah, like, I'm not upset about it, but it now that we kind of think about it this way, the show does seem to have a more meandering plot. In a sense, it's not like, okay, we need to go to A to B. Okay, and once that's done, then we go on to the next thing and the next thing. This show kind of has more of a straight flow to it, where everything just runs right into the next thing. There isn't like a really definite break to an arc.
Yeah, well, except for like the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've been kind of like, in my brain, it's basically, I've been categorizing the show as like, what catastrophe are they working on? Like, first it was the missile crisis, then it was the ship crisis, then it
Not
was
to
the
be
space
confused with our ship crisis from last
different
week.
ship crisis. And it's all been tied to like some real world crisis that the Digimon are affecting that they need to fix. It's been a few episodes since the
International Space Station
right,
crisis.
yeah, since the space station problem was fixed. So I'm wondering, is like, okay, what is the next big thing? That's gonna be like the next big real world thing that's gonna like start like be the next arc, or I guess probably the last arc at this point.
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder, because now that we're seeing real world objects drop into the real world, whether the actual objects are just a facsimile of it, I'm wondering if that's gonna like be the catalyst for like what the next arc is gonna be.
Oh yeah, good point. Because I guess from the old shows, there's always like random real world objects that's just laying around without explanations. I never thought of anything about it this time around.
Yeah. In the old show, it was just like they were there because it's like Digimon is based off data from the real world. So it's like, of course, there's a refrigerator or a train or a trolley car. I mean, it's just there. But now they're like having like a reason for why real world objects are appearing. So I'm wondering if that's gonna kind of kick off what the next big thing is. So.
Now, do you think they ever actually have Digimon related issue in the real world? Like, I mean, like actually manifesting like the first series, or are we just gonna keep all of the digital, like Digimon problem in the digital world?
My guess is if that does happen, it's going to happen towards the very end. I'm imagining that Millenniumon is going to get resurrected, and I predict that there's going to be some breaching into the real world, and that'll kind of carry the Digimon over to the real world. So that's my guess anyway right now.
Yeah, it would feel a little too cheap if they actually stopped the Manilial Mon threat before having a big giant
Yeah,
no big giant battle.
No, Millennium Mon has been built up way too much to
Yeah.
just be to get offed before the series ends. Like he is going to be the final bad of the show for sure. But yeah, that's about all I got for this week.
Yep.
I'm kind of excited for next week because I saw the preview for it, and it's gonna be like fucking Edamon and this other Digimon whose name I don't know, but it seems like they're gonna be having like a rap battle or something.
Oh my god, yes.
They just have these two microphones and they're just screaming at each other in the preview, and I'm kind of down for this. So that should be fun. All right, guys. Well, I think that'll do it for this week. Thanks all for listening. We'll be back again in 2 weeks to talk about 43 and 44. Until then, everybody stay safe, and we'll see you then.
Bye.